I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, open forum. Mr. Crone, if you would like to come up and address us, please.
Good morning. Thanks for your time. Last time I was here, I actually did a little presentation about noise pollution at BIR, which I happened to receive a lot of threatening messages from individuals in the community at work and at home. So I was on the front page of the Dispatch. Didn't know that was going to happen. But anyway, we're here today to talk about the dust control being eliminated on gravel roads in the county. And I'm just asking that that vote be reversed. We live on a gravel road. It's highly residential. It's about a mile long. And the dust has a big impact. There's very short driveways. Kids have to go inside when cars go by. We've tried to pave the road, but we're hitting a lot of roadblocks, if you will. So that's kind of out of the reason, or out of the question. But kind of, it sounds like there's kind of a mix of financial and safety concerns of the reason why this was voted down. And financial reasons, it doesn't really make sense to me. But if safety is the concern, I don't really understand the safety aspects, because calcium chloride is which I believe is used on the dust suppressant, is actually a pretty inert substance. In fact, sodium chloride, what they put down on the road for icing, is much more corrosive and damaging to vehicles. I heard pets being cited, that they don't want to go on the road. But if we're talking about pets, let's talk about humans. When you have a dust that's being stirred up in the air, humans are actually breathing that dust, and what's in that dust is everything that's been spilled on those roads over the years. So I think that's much more of an issue. And then back to still on the safety issue, the dust, it creates a visibility problem. We have a lot of pedestrians that walk on this road. Cars go by, it's a cloud. You can't see anything, and that is a major safety issue. In addition to that, dust control helps stabilize gravel roads, prevents washouts and erosion, and less frequent grading. So I believe all that would save money in the long run. I just don't understand why this was done based on a small number of constituents in one area. I think if you were to ask the majority of the people in the county, they would be in favor of this. So that's what I really would ask you to consider. The last thing I would say, though, too, is if we are talking about safety, I'm going to reiterate again, last time I was here, I talked about noise at BIR. In my yard, on the summer, I can consistently measure decibel levels over 100, which, according to the EPA, causes hearing damage. So if we're going to address this, let's address that, because BIR operates with no rules, and it does cause damage to people. So I know we've tried in the past to eliminate certain things, especially late at night, but I'm just asking you that topic be revisited, and you guys please consider your vote on the dust control. Thank you very much.
Thank you. With that, we'll move on to the review and approval of the minutes from the last 4/22/25 regular meeting.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Franzine, second by Commissioner Coring. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
You're not in favor? No? That motion passes. Review and approve the agenda.
No changes, Mr. Chair. Motion to.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Franzine, second by Commissioner Coring. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion passes. Consent agenda. Any questions on any issues?
Hearing none, motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Franzine,
Second.
second by Commissioner Coring. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
That motion passes. Number 6, Northland Arboretum. Mr. Pania, I think I said that. Close to correct.
Thanks for having me, Commissioners. I have the Board President, Dan Lee, with me here today.
Good morning, Mr. Lee.
Just to answer any questions that you have about the master plan. As you all know, we were able to pass the 2 resolutions with the intent to make the land transfer to Crow Wing County. One of the requirements by Greater Minnesota Parks and Trails Commission is that if we're going to do pass-through funding, that we have an approved master plan by our Board of Directors. We were able to get it approved at the last full board meeting. Now all I'm asking is for you to review and approve the plan. I sent it out a couple weeks ago, so hopefully you've had some time to review it, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have in there.
Any questions? If there's no questions, I look for a motion to approve the Northland Arboretum Master Plan is on file.
I'll make that motion.
Commissioner Franzine makes the motion to approve,
I'll second it.
second by Commissioner Lee. Any other discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. That motion passes.
Thank you very much for your time.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Greatly appreciate it.
Thank you. Number 7, Land Services. Good morning, Mr. Pence.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, members of the board. I have 7 items for your consideration this morning. The first request is for the preliminary plat of Riverwood Shores on Whitefish for parcel numbers 7212050 and 721205049. This is located in Section 12 of Jenkins Township. The request is to approve a conventional design preliminary plat consisting of 18 individual lots. Can you turn to the map on page 93, please? Do we have the pointer? Therese, do we have the pointer? Thank you, sir. So this is located in Jenkins Township. If you scroll down just a little bit more in the map, you can see this. There we go. So we have up here, this is County Road 15, and then down here we have the Pine River. So this is actually the confluence where the Pine River comes into Whitefish. They're proposing to do 18 lots. Part of this, they all meet the requirements of the ordinance as far as lot sizes and lot width. There is an exemption up here. They did a administrative subdivision. There's a house there to exempt that out, so that's already been subdivided. So there's 18 lots in the plat. There's 19 lots total. The Planning Commission held a public hearing on April 17th of 2025 and made a unanimous recommendation to the board to approve the preliminary plat of Riverwood Shores on Whitefish. The Planning Commission and Board of Adjustment did develop the finding of fact that we found on page 116, 117 for your consideration as well. And based on the application submitted, staff packet, public comments, and the finding of fact, it is recommended to approve the preliminary plat of Riverwood Shores on Whitefish. Staff have reviewed the file and concur with the recommendation from the Planning Commission, Board of Adjustment. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Chris?
Yeah, Mr. Chair. Chris, did you, with Jenkins Township, I think this is the first time they've had a plat in their area, and have you been working on them at all for a developer's agreement, or is there a developer's agreement as
Nothing,
part of
there's,
this?
Mr. Chair, Commissioner Lupke, there's nothing in place as far as that now because we're in the preliminary plat design phase. So if the preliminary plat were to get approved today, then the next step would be to move into the final plat. And that's where we would be doing road design and working on, stormwater management for the road, and then working with the developer to decide how they want to handle it. Do they want to build the road before they apply for their final plat, or do they want to go through the developer's agreement and put down, because then if they do the developer's agreement, it's 125% of the engineer's estimated cost of construction of the improvements needed within the plat. So that's phase 2 would be the final plat process. We'd work with the township.
Maybe I'm getting ahead of it a little bit, but I know they mentioned about the road standard, that we've changed that in our FAD district and SAD district, where the road standard goes from 2-inch to 3-inch bit.
Yeah, I've talked to the Jenkins supervisor, and they've reached out to Highway and got the road specs for that. I'm not sure how much they've adopted or if they've modified
Well,
it or
that's
whatever, but
that's it.
they have. I know that they've reached out, and I think that's the general road design. The ultimate plan is for the township to maintain the new road as
Yes.
part of this plat.
Yes, okay, thank you.
You said the first unit was excluded out? Was it for lot size?
No, we have a process where you can create lots if they're non-riparian without having to go through the plating process. So it was called an administrative subdivision, and so if you look up here where it says, if I can't get the pointer to work right, there we go. Right there, it's called the exemption. It just means that they've already subdivided the property before they did the plat. They carved that piece out already, so.
Okay.
Meets all the requirements that need a variance. They just were able to do that without having to do the plat.
Yep.
Any other questions?
No.
Hearing none, I would look for the motion to approve the preliminary plat for Riverwood Shores.
Mr. Chair, I'll make that motion.
Commissioner Lupke makes a motion to approve.
Second?
Second by Commissioner Franzine. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 That motion passes. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The next request is for the preliminary plat of Fisher Acres for parcel number 6806055, located in Section 6 of Ideal Township. The request is to approve a conventional design preliminary plat consisting of 3 individual lots. If you go to the map on page 121, we can get a look at that. So you see, this comes off the Long Farm Road here, and then this is Hibiscus, and these are the 3 lots that they're proposing to construct as part of this. And then this would be Lower Whitefish here. It's on Whitefish, so all 3 lots would have access to get down to Whitefish on this plat. The Planning Commission held a public hearing on April 17th of 2025 and made a unanimous recommendation to the board to approve the preliminary plat of Fisher Acres. The Planning Commission Board of Adjustment developed the finding of fact that you'll find on page 131 and 132 of the packet for your consideration as well. And based on the application submitted, staff packet, public comments, and the finding of fact, it is recommended to approve the preliminary plat of Fisher Acres. Staff have reviewed the file and concur with the recommendation from the Planning Commission Board of Adjustment. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Questions?
Sure.
Commissioner Coring.
Chris, conventional plat, I've never heard you say that before.
Yep, so we have 2 options to plat within the county. One is a conventional lot and block, which is what you see here, and then there's the conservation design, which is where you group them together, and we'll have that'll be for item 7.6 at Brainerd International Raceway. So it's just clarifying which platting process are they using, the conventional or the conservation design. So like the Riverwood Shores, that was a conventional, where it's just lot and block, where everybody owns total fee title. Conventional design would be where they would own a smaller piece where the building would be located, and they would have the common ownership of the open space amongst them, where you'd have more of a homeowners association to manage and regulate that. So just differentiating between the 2 of those, so.
Thank you.
Any other questions? I would look for a motion to approve.
I'll make that motion.
Commissioner Lee makes a motion to approve the preliminary plat for Fisher Acres.
And Mr. Chair, I'll second that motion.
Second by Commissioner Lubke. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
That motion passes. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The next item we have is the final plat of Fisher Acres. All requirements have been met for the final plat application, and I would recommend approval as submitted.
Questions?
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to approve the final plat for
Commissioner
Fisher Acres.
Key makes the motion to approve the final plat,
Second.
second by Commissioner Franzine. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. That motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you. The next request is for the preliminary plat of Snook Acres for parcel number 73340502 and 73340662, located in section 34 of Lake Edward Township. The request is to approve a conventional design preliminary plat consisting of 3 individual lots and 1 outlot. Now, if you go to the map on page 151. So this is on North Long Lake, and we've got County Road 127 up here. This will be just to the west of Merrifield. There's going to be a lot back here. There's an existing home here, and then this lot here. So it'll be a total of 3 lots. That outlot here is what's going to come in to give that access down to these 2 lots to get down here. Then there'll be access through easements to get over to the other lots. The Planning Commission Board of Adjustment held a public hearing on April 17th, 2025, and made a unanimous recommendation to the board to approve the preliminary plat of Snook Acres. The Planning Commission Board of Adjustment did develop finding of fact that are found on page 159 to 160 of your board packet this morning. Based on the application submitted, staff packet, public comments, and the finding of fact, it is recommended to approve the preliminary plat of Snook Acres. Staff have reviewed the file and concur with the recommendation from the Planning Commission Board of Adjustment. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Questions?
Well, I have a question, or not really a question. Ditch 13 runs through this, and the lot that they're making at the lake on the east side is really, really soft in the spring. I've been called out there every year with the previous owners to come and look at it because it was swampy. And I have no problem with them making another lot, just as long as the people they sell to are aware that it is not the ideal lake lot.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, Commissioner Franzine, when you look at that County Ditch 13, we would treat that as a wetland, and so it has a 15-foot setback for construction and for structures. You'll see when you look at the plat, they've got a couple of areas to where they can build, probably going to be up, they've got a building area here, and then back up in here a little bit. So, I mean, it does show, as you mentioned, it being, fairly, having some, wetland areas on there. So this is all available for them to be able to understand when they purchase, to know what they're getting, and to be aware of what limitations the lot might have on it. And if you look, the reality is it's got a very wet frontage as well. And so it's definitely not the type of lot where it's nice, flat, high ground down to the lake where it's that beautiful beach area. But, people buying it should be able to look at the information provided and knowingly purchase, that they might have to construct a boardwalk to get access out to the lake, in that area. And then the truth is the water out there is pretty shallow, so they're going to have to put a fairly long dock to get out to Napa water to have to put a dock out too. So, but this information is public, and hopefully people will be aware of what they're purchasing when they were to buy a property like this.
Okay. Well, I'll make the motion to approve.
Commissioner Franzine makes a motion to approve the preliminary plat for Snook Acres.
I will.
Second by Commissioner Coring. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
That motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you. The next request that we have is for the final plat of Snook Acres. All requirements have been met for the final plat application and would recommend approval as submitted.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Franzine.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Coring.
Mr. Chair, I just have a question on that, and if you don't mind. Chris, the access they have to Block 1, or Lot 3, I see the 33-foot easement along there that gives them access to it. Where does that 33-foot easement ends up coming out to? Is there a road out to 127 there? Or are they going to use that outlot A driveway?
It's the outlot. Yep, so the outlot will be a shared,
Driveway down to there, and then they'll come into that access?
correct.
Okay, okay. That was my only question. Thank you.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion passes. Thank you, Chris.
The next request is for the final plat of the Brainerd International Raceway Luxury Garages. There are a total number of 11 parcel numbers that are listed in the request for board action. I won't read those in the record just because of the large number. But this is located in Section 13 of the First Assessment District, and the request is to approve a conservation design final plat consisting of 12 individual lots and one shared outlot. So if you go to the map on page 175, you'll see the layout of the map of what it is. And so this is really a replat of what they had platted probably back in 2015. They just found out that people weren't interested in buying the lots as they had them split out before, so this is what people are more interested. These are smaller units than what was originally planned when they platted this the first time. This did actually, the Planning Commission held a public hearing on this one back in August 15th of 2024 of last summer, so they've got a year from preliminary plat to come in and apply for final plat. And the Planning Commission made a recommendation to the county board to approve the preliminary plat, and then the board did take action on the preliminary plat on October 8th of 2024. And so based on the application submitted, the staff packet, public comments, and the finding of fact, it is recommended to approve the final plat of Brainerd International Raceway Luxury Garages. It's also been, the staff have reviewed the file and determined that all ordinance requirements have been met. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Questions?
Mr.
Chair, just a
Commissioner
question. So when we say luxury garages, I know I've actually been in one of the really fancy ones, and they have like a living quarters.
It is, yeah.
And these will be living quarters?
Absolutely, yep. There's a spot for the garage, and then they got the living quarters.
And then another question, Chris, I believe they have, they don't each need to have a septic system. Isn't there some?
It has a shared
Shared
septic
system.
out there for
Okay.
them, yep. It's all part of there's part of a homeowners association that manages all that, so.
Sure.
Yep.
Thank you.
Commissioner Lee?
You said the original time it was presented, they were larger in size?
Right, yep, and so they made them smaller because they realized that people weren't interested in buying such larger units. They decided to get smaller, so they added a few more. They kind of cut them up into smaller units, so more for one vehicle and then a small living quarters on the top of it, so.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Coring to approve,
I'll second it.
second by Commissioner Lee. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
That motion passes.
All right, thank you very much. The final request is for a land use map amendment for parcel number 67360502, which is located in part of Government Lot 3 of Section 36 of Garrison Township. The request is to amend the land use map from waterfront commercial to commercial involving approximately 26.4 acres. Can you go to the map on page 231? So this is a location of where, this is on 169. And this is the parcel in question here. The zoning that you see, this is Lake Mille Lacs over here on the other side of 169, obviously. The request is to rezone or change the zoning on this parcel from waterfront commercial to commercial 1. That would be what this pink color is down here. And so just to give you an idea of what the colors are, the blue color would be the shoreline district, this would be waterfront commercial, and then this would be commercial. And so one of the main differences between waterfront commercial and commercial is just the size of the lots. So if you were to want to create lots, let's say in commercial zoning, it would be basically 40,000 square feet or just a hair under an acre and 100 feet wide. And then if you were to create a new lot in the waterfront commercial, it would be, I should have had this written down. Grab it out of the ordinance quick. So waterfront commercial would require 120,000 square feet of lot area. And so that's about 3 acres, give or take, and then the lot width would be 400 feet. And so that's the real difference between commercial versus waterfront commercial. There are some difference in uses, but not really substantial. I think with the applicant, why they're choosing, wanting to go to a commercial versus waterfront commercial is for the ability to create smaller lots there on 169. The Planning Commission did hold a public hearing on April 17th and made a unanimous recommendation to the board to approve the land use map amendment for parcel 67360502 from waterfront commercial to commercial involving 26.4 acres. The Planning Commission Board of Adjustment did develop a finding of fact on page 236, 237 within your packet. Based on the application submitted, the staff packet, public comments, and the finding of fact, it is recommended to approve the land use map amendment as submitted. Staff have reviewed the file and concur with the recommendation from the Planning Commission. There is one comment that was part of the packet from a neighbor to the north. He did attend the Planning Commission meeting and did testify at the meeting about his concerns about changing the zoning on it. And but the decision from the Planning Commission was unanimous to recommend approval to going to commercial zoning.
Commissioner Coring?
Sure. Thank you. So Chris, if the board approves this, to create lots here, would that just be an over-the-counter thing, or would they have to come back to the planning?
Those would be non-riparian lots, and so they would be able to do the administrative subdivision process to create those lots, yeah.
That was kind of my question, Chris. Those are not riparian lots then? They're not waterfront commercial, but there were
It's very challenging to figure that out down there, because you do have, obviously you have 169 that runs north and south, and the land that's off to the east of that is all MnDOT right away. And so the question that people have worked with MnDOT to allow them to put docks out and across the road and that. And the question that comes up is part of that MnDOT right away, is that platted or is that an easement? Depending on, because if it's platted, then it would be. And so that's how we've always directed people to talk with MnDOT about where their property starts and ends on that part of 169, because it's not as clear as one would hope.
Mr. Chair,
Commissioner Lee?
do you remember what the neighbor's concern was?
We could pull the letter up. It should be in the packet, I believe.
I didn't see it.
I'm not sure yet what page it's on, but.
On page 239.
Can we go to the next page? I think he was concerned about the creation of the 100-foot lots, on number 2. And I think he had concerns about mobile homes or trailers possibly coming in. And campers wouldn't enhance the area. And the thing to remember is that with the property being waterfront commercial right now, someone could come in and apply for a conditional use permit, to apply for a resort, or to apply for a campground to have that there. And so one of the changes that we've got proposed to the zoning ordinance, that'll be back to you guys in 2 weeks, one of the changes is to, when we look at our commercial zoning, to include resorts in that. Right now, I want to talk about waterfront commercial, but to include, commercial as being where you could have a resort, as well. So I think some of the issues that are being raised would still be an issue if the zoning stays what it is currently right now.
Thank you.
Commissioner Coring?
Chris, what would be the reasoning for waterfront commercial and commercial? Can you just explain why we would have two different classifications?
Right. So if you look in in Article 10, we have definitions and explanations for what waterfront commercial versus, so waterfront commercial is, the purpose of it is to accommodate commercial uses in the Shoreland District where access to and use of surface water is an integral part of the business. The primary uses in this district are marinas, resorts, and restaurants with transient docking facilities. And then commercial district is to provide adequate areas for general retail, wholesale, office, and service activities in rural areas. And it talks about location along which roadways would it be located on. So I think the intent between waterfront commercial and commercial is to say, waterfront commercial is obviously more of the use of the water, lots directly on the water for commercial uses.
Mr. Chair. So if the board approves this and it becomes commercial, let's just say Thompson Concrete wanted to have another satellite office over there with maybe some concrete blocks and sell it out of that property, would they be able to if this would be approved?
So if I were to look at, so I would see that as a business, commercial, retail. Right now, that would be, commercial would be a permitted use, and waterfront commercial would be a conditional use for a business similar to that.
But it's Mr. Chair, it's waterfront commercial now,
Correct.
but if we approve this as commercial,
It'd be a
then,
permitted use.
then they could have a satellite
Sure.
business over
Sure.
there on that property.
Absolutely. Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Chris, the person who has this property right now, the 502 property, couldn't they do, if it was waterfront commercial and they own the whole property, couldn't they place units already on there, but I'm maybe going to answer my own question, but they couldn't sell them as individual units, they'd be splitting it up? That tract that they have, the tract A, B, C that they have sitting there, they wouldn't be able to sell those individually. They could have they could put a cabin on them, and they could rent the cabin out.
Sure. So if they were to, if it were to maintain waterfront commercial status, and they were to subdivide lots, they'd have to be 400 feet wide and.
Okay, that's
3
the
acres.
reason. That's the reason. They can't narrow them up and.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep, that's what the commercial standard allows for, a smaller lot and a smaller lot width for commercial. And if you look at that map too, it's a lot of it is very wet, a lot of wetland, especially to the rear. And so the primary highest use of the property is going to be more to the south, where there's some high ground down there. And so it's not like all 26 acres is going to be, available to use as far as, for all commercial. It's going to be the high ground primarily to the south.
Thank you.
Any other questions? I would look for a motion.
I make the motion.
Commissioner Lee makes the motion to approve.
Yes, sir. Motion to approve, yes.
Need a second.
Second?
Second by Commissioner Franzine. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. That motion passes. I'm sorry. All those not in favor?
No,
Motion passes 4-1.
thank you.
Thank you. Just as a heads up, we do have a busy agenda for Thursday. We have 5 plats on the agenda, so we'll be back seeing you again in June with a bunch of plats to run through again, so thank you.
All right. County Sheriff.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
Good job.
Morning, Commissioners, Mr. Chair. We've had last couple of weeks has been kind of really sad, tragic for our guys. So we hope to be beyond that coming up. Thursdays, we meet, we have our leadership team meeting on Thursdays, and this week we had area local pastors that came in and prayed for us, so it was really kind of perfect timing. They surrounded the table and prayed for us, which was really nice. We sure appreciate our faith community and the love that they continually show us all the time. So appreciate that. Let's see what else. We've got our partnership with Mille Lacs Tribal for the Lakes Area Drug Investigative Division. So our partnership with them is very. We're excited about that and all the possibilities that come with that. The guys have been very active, and we've had a lot of activity with drugs, unfortunately. Some of it is, kind of some heavy weight, which I haven't seen for a long time. They're doing great work, and that's all I got, unless you guys have some questions for me at all.
Any questions for the sheriff?
Welcome back, Commissioner Coring. It's good to see you in person. All right, thank you.
Thank you. County Attorney.
Good morning, everyone. I do not have anything, but if you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer.
Questions for the County Attorney? All right. County Administrator.
Mr. Chair, Commissioners, I only have one agenda item today. That's the Senior Management Team report, and I was not able to be at yesterday's meeting, so I've asked Jory to give you an update on what occurred at yesterday's Senior Management Team.
Good morning, Mr. Chair and Commissioners. Yesterday, the Senior Management Team, Jory Danielson, Administrative Services Director. Yesterday, the Senior Management Team met here. We briefly discussed compensation strategies and where we're at in that process. We also talked about volunteers throughout the county and how we are tracking that, or how we should be tracking that. Clayton, Steph, and I are working on a process to make sure that all our volunteers that help out and contribute to different areas of the county are covered under some type of insurance. And then we had the pleasure of having a number of about 36 AP students from the Brainerd High School join us in this room yesterday, where we talked about all things county government. Gave a brief description of what each of our areas are, and we had a lot of good discussion from those students asking questions. I think the county engineer and the sheriff were the stars of yesterday's meeting, very popular. My favorite question was the one young lady had said that they just finished their AP Calculus exam, and would that be useful in life? And unfortunately, Tim had to answer that question. So really robust and good discussion. I think we've got a bright future with those students. We're hoping to continue this process, that we can work together and partner with them to expose the younger generation to county and local government. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
So question for you, since we represent the county, what about the other two school districts and their AP students? Will they be invited in?
We're going to work on that. Yes, I think there's an opportunity with also Pequot and Crosby. This was kind of a put together, offered after participating in a speech program that they had offered over there. They invited me in to sit on that and listen in on a speech, and then we had also received a speech from one of those AP students that was very impressive about engagement in productivity in the workforce sector. That kind of stemmed me reaching out to see if there was an opportunity, and Brainerd was more than happy. So as we move forward, I will reach out to Crosby and Pequot also to see if we can get those students introduced.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? County engineer? Thank you.
Thanks, Jory.
Thank you. Tim?
Are you done with your report? I just wanted to take a few minutes. I thought of this and maybe could have been on the agenda, but I want to just, for listeners and for everybody else, that we have an ongoing campaign, the Long Range Transportation Plan. So I want to give a little shameless plug for that. I had a great opportunity to be on Community Focus last week. It's been in the paper, a press release, and we're leveraging social media to get the word out, to get comments from the public, and it's just very important to hear from the residents about those pain points that they all know and experience in their daily commutes and things like that. They're just saying, we don't know what we don't know, and our folks are out there a lot on our roadways, but we don't see it in the same perspective as a mother or father dropping their kids off, or a school bus driver and things like that. So it's gravely important for those to engage. We have two opportunities that are on the front page of our website, crowwing.gov. There's a survey, a traditional survey, and then a really cool product that we are using is an interactive map. It is the same exact mapping tool as what was used for the comprehensive plan last summer. So you go there, put it, pin on a map in a very focused comment about transportation or so we get those, and we've gotten a lot of comments, and if you look at the map, there's a lot of icons around. We're still looking for more input. So I just want to give a plug for those to engage in that. If you haven't done it yourselves, I encourage you, because we are all, everybody in this room is a user of the transportation system, and we all have some gripe somewhere. We want to hear it and to have it considered. Okay?
Very good.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. So we're down to additional business. Commissioner Coring, do you want to beat me to this one? Okay,
I would
go ahead.
like to. I just want to report to the board a little bit on a project that know that you're aware of, that I'm working on, is the bridge on North Coring Road, which has been closed for many years, and Tim is probably, the county engineer is probably getting tired of me talking to him. We've had multiple conversations about the bridge, and so I went out and I attended last week. I attended the St. Matthias Township meeting to offer my services to be kind of coordinate things if they're interested in getting this bridge replaced. And I can report back that the St. Matthias Town Board is very interested in moving forward with this. And I told them, I said I had heard through the grapevine that they were saving money for this project, which I thought, well, maybe they've got $10,000. You know, townships don't have a lot. I asked how much, if they're saving, and they said yes. And I said, how much? They said $85,000 they've saved so far. They've been putting aside money every single year, and so they would like to get this done, but it's a kind of a Herculean task because this bridge has been closed for so long. A lot of people think, well, why everybody's been going around? I guess you don't need it. And I think back to, you know, one time when we were approving a project here, Tim Bray said, you know, we got to look forward to, I hope I'm saying this right, Tim, but we look forward to future transportation needs. And I told him, I said, yeah, I said, closing a road or giving a road back is not a good thing because we don't know what our future transportation needs are. So had a great meeting with them. They want me to help. So then that was on Monday night. Tuesday night, I went over to Fort Ripley because that's the town line road. Half the road, or on the other side is St. Matthias, on the other side is Fort Ripley. There was actually a huge turnout at the Fort Ripley Town Hall meeting, and one of the landowners, who I kind of thought maybe he'd be opposed to this, and he looked at me and he said, "Get her done." So the Fort Ripley Town Board said they want more information, but they seemed like they wanted to move forward. So I don't know if I reported before. I think I did report before. When I was down in Florida, I went to the Minnesota breakfast and I presented a packet to Congressman Stauber to see if there was any possibility of any federal money, because he did send out an email and said, is there any local projects? And so I thought, well, here's a local project. The county administrator did bring a packet down and a letter to Wiesenberg, Senator Wiesenberg, and Representative Krisha. So didn't really hear anything from him. So on Friday of last week, I attended a funeral for a longtime employee for the Minnesota Senate. And then I thought, well, I'll go up to the Capitol. And I ran into Josh Heinzman, and I had asked him if he would introduce a bill for possible inclusion in the bonding bill next year. He said that he would, even though it's not his district, I never heard back from the other two, so he said he would get it drafted. I did go on the Senate floor. I talked to Senator Wiesenberg. He seemed like he was very excited to help out with it. And I did also hear from Representative Krisha's office. They seemed like they were very excited to be able to help out with that too. So now I'm going to ask Tim Bray and our county administrator to help me. We're going to try to have a joint meeting with St. Matthias and Fort Ripley to kind of coordinate and see what we can do to get the bridge, what the steps are to get the bridge out of there, to get the funding to get this bridge in. And if anybody ever wants to go down there, let me know. I mean, obviously, we can't all go, but I can take you individually. Coring Road actually runs almost parallel of 371. So it's really an important thing. And they actually put together a bridge book. And this bridge book is, I'd say it's probably 3 or 4 inches thick. And thank you to the County Highway Department staff, they digitized it so I can send it to each one of you. It's an amazing read. And there's letters from Camp Ripley saying that they're supportive of it. And I have to say, I'm a little bit embarrassed. There's a letter from Senator Coring in there from 2007 saying that I would do not support the project. Because if you look at the book, you'll see that letter, and I just want to make you aware of it. And I think there was a reasoning for that. I think being that my name, family name is on there, I don't know. I'm not exactly sure what my reasoning was on that, but I'm trying to advocate on behalf of these townships. They really want me to try to help out, move this forward. And if we don't do anything, it's never going to get replaced. And it's got quite a history. This bridge is a metal. There's concrete abutments, and then there's a metal bridge, and there used to be wooden planks on top. And at some point, Tim, somebody stole those planks off of the bridge, and they actually
Only in the south end of the county would that happen.
And somebody actually stole the bridge, and then they got it back. Am I right, Tim? Yep. And so it's quite a story, actually. So I just wanted to let the board know that I'm not asking for any money thus far, but I'm trying to help coordinate for my people down in St. Matthias and Fort Ripley Township. So I'm really excited about trying to help with this project.
All right, thank you. Want to remind everybody that on May 15th, it's Police Officers Memorial Day, and we should remember those officers on that day. May 16th, you all should get excited. It's National Bike to Work Day on Friday the 16th. So get your bikes out, especially for you guys from up north. Ride down here to the office.
Oh, yeah, that'll work.
Leave on Wednesday or tomorrow.
I have to take the training wheels off.
And May 26th is Memorial Day, so let's keep our officers in mind. It's going to be a busy time. That's just the day before our next meeting, so we know the traffic will start picking up, and we want to be cognizant of that. So with having, oh my goodness, Commissioner Corney's got one more thing.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I don't know if Commissioner Lee wants to give a report, but he had a town hall meeting. I'm just curious if you wanted to report on that, if you don't want to. I mean,
Nope,
I mean to put you on the spot.
Not a problem at all. So Thursday, last week, May 8th.
Your microphone?
Yep, just wasn't close enough to it. Last week, May 8th, did a town hall meeting in Crosby at the high school, and the whole purpose of it was just to bring in our Land Services Department, Gary Griffin and Sandra, and have them talk about property taxes and property values and how everything works together and why decisions are the way they are. And pretty close to filling out the room with the chairs that we had there, and it was well received. Everybody was glad that we did it, and had feedback since then also that said they wished we did more of it. So I'll probably have to do it again sometime. So,
Very good.
Mr. Chair, I attended that meeting and we'll have to.
I think I opened up a whole can of worms.
Well,
here.
no, I tended to be a mouse in the corner because what Commissioner Lee has done is something that I think is really important, especially for us that are out where we have a lot of small cities and townships, is to bring the county to them a little bit in doing that, and Commissioner Lee did an awesome job, other than he did introduce himself at the beginning of the meeting. Other than that, nobody knew who he was there, so no, they all knew who he was, but I thought it was really well done, and I was amazed at the amount of really good questions that were asked, and we had our staff there to be able to ask those. I was just an observer there, but I'm planning on doing something like that up in the district that I serve. So I thank him for taking the first step in doing that. So that's all I had.
If there's nothing else, I'd look for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Commissioner Franzine makes the motion, Commissioner Coring seconds that motion. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.